What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here, bringing you another Black Desert online video, 20-hour grind, silver breakdown, and we are at a new type of video I've done in regards to how we grinded this before. Now, I've covered Cadry in the past when there were some adjustments made to Cadry rings could be melted for Yona fragments, so Cadry really picked up as a spot. They had also adjusted the scroll drop rate at every zone in Valencia, making Cadry pretty much on par with most other spots that people were grinding, and that 20-hour grind came out to about 55 mil per hour. This is a little bit different for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Cadry rings are now even more lucrative with the addition of the Kaposha accessories now being craftable. So they can be melted for Yona fragments, and you need a whole boatload of them to craft them, but that did raise the value of them quite significantly. There are Serap's necklaces that drop here as well, only from the elites. So real quick, if you haven't seen that video, let's just go ahead and take a look at the drop rates to cover that. We've got our Rosar weapons that drop here. These are going to be melted for the most part, or sold if you've got the inventory space to hold them while you're grinding. But what we're looking for are enhanced drops of these so that they can be extracted for the black stones, which are incredibly valuable, especially if you enhance yourself and need them for fail stacking. If you don't, you can always sell them and make a really good profit off of the black stones, because you're going to walk away with a ton of these things with the method that I'm going to show you in just a moment. Serap's necklace, like I said, they do drop. We see the market price at about 11.5 right now. These only drop from the elites here, which is relevant because this grind is 20-hour grind of only doing elite rotations and then just only killing regular mobs in between our cooldowns on channels. But we'll jump into that in just a moment. We can see the Cadry rings are actually a little higher value than the Serap's right now, but they mostly stay around the same since these melt for 3 to 5 Yona fragments, either one that you get. You can also get these 3 pieces that drop here. It takes 1 of each piece to create a Cadry ring, so over time you're definitely going to be getting Cadry rings even if you don't get some lucky drops. We've got the BMC Valors, which have recently tripled in price from what they were with the announcement of Manos coming on September 4th. These went up significantly in value. As a matter of fact, my spreadsheet has them listed lower value than they're currently at right now. We get a good number of scrolls from this area as well, especially because we're elite farming. Yona fragments just drop by themselves, and Kafferson dust, as you see when we get the spreadsheets out, are actually really lucrative as well. Now, as far as this being a 20-hour grind, I did spend 20-ish hours. It was actually probably a little hair over that. How I classified this, since what we're doing is running through the elites and then channel swapping to catch another round of elites. There are 7 of them total. So basically what I did is you can get 4-ish, 5-ish rotations in an hour. If you come here and you don't have a server channel cooldown, as soon as you get here, you're going to be able to hit 5 rotations. If you are maybe going for 2 consecutive hours when you start your second hour, you're going to have a cooldown from the previous one. So for keeping it just, all in the same page, I did 4 rotations on each of these. In some cases, you'll see that the trash numbers were much higher when I didn't have my cooldown up and able to get the 4th rotation. I had to wait all the way the full 15 minutes each time. In some hours, I had the cooldown already up. So hopefully that makes sense to you for there. I just wanted to keep it comparative and not have some hours I fit 5 rotations, some hours I fit 4. I just kept it 4 full rotations. So all in all, some of the hours ended up taking me an hour and 5 minutes and not actually a true hour, but that's going to be pretty negligible since we're just farming the elites. First things first, let me just run through here and show you. Maybe I'll kill one elite if he's on the very last spot, but I don't want to drag this video out too far. So when you come in, you want to come in from the side entrance. Whoops. You want to come in from the side entrance at Cadry because it's much quicker to get to, coming in this way instead of around this way. And you'll see, if you take a look at a mini map in the top left corner, when you're first coming in here, you can look, and right around there where my mouse is where you're going to see your first elite spawn. You can see he's not up on this server, but he spawns and he walks around right up here. The second one you can actually catch if you're just heading towards the back area. Again, using your mini map here is going to help you from having to actually run. You'll see him over in this zone right here. I will go ahead. He's not up, but I'll run over there just so you can kind of see where he'll be at if you're not familiar with it. He paces around right in this area. Sometimes he likes to glitch his way up like into the side of that mountain just for some fun. So let's head through the back here. That's the first 2. Like I said, there's 7 total. And when you're doing this, you want to just focus on going for the elites right away. And then, like I said, after that, if you have a channel cooldown, then go ahead and grind some mobs in between. Number 3, he spawns right through here. He'll walk through this doorway so he can be on either side. Again, you want to use your mini-map to make sure you see the elite symbol on there to save yourself some time. And let's get to the next 2 that pace around a circle very next to each other. This one's up right here. So here's number 4. He paces right here. He doesn't go past that doorway, so you always see him on the inside of that doorway. Let me zip down to the next circle here. You have 2 on either side that are going to spawn at this circle, similar to that front area. And we can see on our mini-map, we've got the right one is up, but not the left one. If you see here, his symbol, we know he's up. The other one would be right there. But we'll go ahead and walk over so, again, you can see where he's at. Boom, there he is. Sometimes he'll actually be hanging out inside this large cannon, so just keep an eye on that. If you see the symbol and you're like, oh wait, I don't see him, both of these guys can sometimes come and go into that little cannon thing and kind of glitched inside it. The other one walks right about here. This right here is typically where I'll run my horse into and then park it right here. It's a safe zone as long as you clear the mobs that aggro when you first get there. And now we've got, that was 5 and 6. We've got the final one, number 7. He's going to be all the way down to this zone right here. He'll hang out with this little pack of mobs right there. So those are your 7 elites that you'll be running across to grind these. And then, like I said, once you clear that server, you have a server change. You just want to go in, boom, and hit the next one. Pick whatever your favorite is, and jump on that. Rotate 4 to 5 servers, at a time. If you're staying here for several hours, which can be a little tricky because of the weight configurations with the Rosar weapons, but you'll want to keep the cooldowns. Just kind of go and pick whatever the servers are. If you want to stay like all on Valencia servers, you could do that, or however you want to do it. As far as fighting these guys, they're really tanky. In fact, I'm pretty convinced that these guys are AP capped, the elites here. I say that because fighting these, I'm fighting them on a 265 Kudum lawn right now, and even when I bring my 274 Kudum DK, I don't kill them any faster, and I haven't been killing them faster ever since I was around 230 AP with them, so it leads me to believe that they're AP capped. I've never seen anything that says that they are, but it sure as heck feels like it. Either that or they're just extremely tanky, crazy armor heavy. I mean, that could be the case, but I'm just shocked with the difference in when I was killing these guys at 220, 230 Kudum versus 270 plus Kudum, and I'm not seeing much faster results in killing them at all. So keep that in mind. They do take a little bit. There hasn't been a whole lot of competition for this going. Right now we have the drop loot event going, so I'm not sure that too many people will be running this rotation at all. But you do run into some people, and a lot of times they're just fighting over the elites as well. So you just want to get there first, out DPS them, make sure you have pets out so that they can actually collect the stuff from them, and they go from there. These guys have an insanely high, it's not 100% chance, but they have an insanely high chance to drop Ancient Spirit Dust. We can see we got a +8 Rosar weapon there, so that's going to extract for at least 8 weapon stones across the board. So then again, once you're on cooldown from your servers, if you've already server channel hopped, just go ahead and grind some mobs until that's off cooldown. Usually takes me about 5 minutes to do a full elite rotation if they're up. However many you have up at the time will vary. It's just a lot heavy RNG based as far as that goes, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. This is going to be really, really RNG, which you'll see when we get the spreadsheets pulled up. Let's just go ahead and swap servers here so we de-aggro the guys that are on us, and I'm going to pull up the spreadsheet and let's take a look how we did across 20 hours. It might just surprise you. So a couple things to point out. First of all, I want to talk about the trash loot that we had. Obviously much lower than when we were doing straight grinding at Cadry, killing elites when they're up, but we weren't server swapping. Obviously the trash loot is going to be much lower in hours when you had a lot of elites up, and you'll have it much higher in when you end up with some rotations where you don't have a lot of elites. The good news is the place isn't completely terrible to grind. In fact, this hour when I had a bunch of trash loot means that I didn't have as many elites, so I was killing much more trash. I got pretty lucky with a ring drop, decent ring pieces, Yona fragments, so that was actually my highest hour without the elites at 96 mil. This is without a loot scroll as well. Pretty incredible for Cadry in general, in my opinion. Worst hour, I believe, was right around 57. This one's 57.50, I think was my lowest. Yes, it is. So I had a lowest hour elite hopping, 4 rotations of elites, 57 mil, my highest being 96. This gave us a total average at 73.54 million. This is without loot scroll, so this is actually really, really, really good money when you're out of loot scrolls and not grinding a higher end zone. It's also much lower AP. You don't need, the game recommends 140 AP. To be able to do the elites efficiently, you probably want to be closer to 200 Kudum plus even to be fast at it, just because if you are trying to out DPS some other people for the elite, it does happen from time to time, and without the right AP, you're just not going to be able to do it. Also keep in mind, there's a chance that this might be a little heavier grinded with the event going on, so you might have more competition and see some lower averages while that's going on as well. The more competitive is, it's just going to be that way. Like I said, heavy RNG for this, really heavy RNG, because you're depending on the elites actually being up based on whatever channel you go to at the time, and then of course the drops on top of that. So when we take a look here at Rosars, we ended up averaging, oh, that number is too high, and let's fix our formula real quick. 23 across the board. I think we're getting attacked. We are not. Okay, somebody else is fighting there. That's great. Okay, so here we go. Now that we've got these formulas fixed. So we've got 53 Rosars per hour there, which isn't much of a surprise. You can see 30 in the lower ends, right around 50 to 60 most hours. Again, because you're killing elites, they're going to drop around 3 Rosars right in that ballpark every time, a lot of times enhanced. These Rosars is how many I got that were not enhanced. I did not count the enhanced Rosars towards this number. So the actual Rosar drop was higher than this, but I counted the enhanced ones as Blackstones. Once I extracted them, I added up the total Blackstones and counted them that way since I was extracting them. Scrolls ended up averaging 6 per hour, which was pretty nice. Never broke over 9, never less than 3, and not very many at only 3 anyhow, so that wasn't too bad. Average of 6. Crystal came a little short of 1 per hour. We had 1.5 raw Caphras per hour, but we had right over 20 dust per hour, which means that's an additional 4 Caphras. So we were seeing 5 to 6 Caphras stones, which for a Valencia zone and it not being Kama Sylvia, that's actually pretty impressive. Came out to almost exactly 112 Blackstones, and again, that is based on extracting the Rosars that were enhanced. So you can see some hours 165 here, 189 looks like was my highest. The second one sometimes down to the 86. That again are very RNG heavy. First hour being 70. I think that was my worst and then my best right there in the first 2 hours. And that's RNG heavy. Sometimes you're going to get a plus 14 drop. Sometimes you're going to get a plus 1 drop. I extracted every single one that was enhanced, and that's just the way that it came out. 3,800 trash, but in all honesty, trash loot is not what we're worried about. It's worth 1,200 a piece in this zone, which is pretty low compared to say Gahaz or Poly 4 or something like that. But trash loot's not what we're looking for since we're elite grinding anyhow. Pedal, world drop, kind of same across the board. Ring pieces, you can see sometimes I had heavy ring piece drops. The reason for that is here's how the rings got valued and how they work. So it essentially takes you 55 ring pieces to create a Cadry ring. And we saw the Cadry rings at 11.5 value. I think I have them at 10. So these numbers are with the rings valued at 10, which I think is a fair number to keep them at. So 55 ring pieces is the equivalent of 1 ring, but you have to value them differently. The blue little circle ones, it takes 9 of those to turn into 1 little red piece, and then it takes 5 red pieces to then turn into 1 black piece. So a black piece itself is going to be worth 45 on its own, because it's 45 of those blue rings then have a value to the 1 black piece. You could turn that into black piece if you had 45 of them, and you need 1 black, 1 red, and 1 blue of each piece to combine. Therefore, it's a total of 55 based on the value of the blue items. So when you divide it by 10, they're worth 180k a piece, because again, you combine them into rings. I didn't add these into rings. I just put raw. Like you could see, a black piece obviously dropped here and here, which basically turn into rings after you've been grinding for a while. So I assigned those a value of 45, and this one had an extra 6. Also that hour, this one had an extra 5 along with the black piece drop. So that's how it worked. Now this hour that came out to 90 mil, you can actually see is kind of crazy when you think about it, because we've got the black piece dropped, and I got 2 raw ring drops on top of that, which is just crazy lucky considering I got 4 throughout the total of just complete raw ring drops across the board. Pretty nice. Yona stayed fairly consistent, right between 1 and 2 per hour, and I did get 2 Serups from the elites. Only the elites drop these here, not the normal mobs. So that's the breakdown across from it. Coming out, it might even be a little bit higher than that since I have my Cadry rings just a hair undervalued, which would bring the ring piece value up a little bit as well, but I think valuing them at 10 is just fine. I didn't personally sell my rings. I melted them all for Yona fragments and created crescent rings with them, and then I could have sold the crescent rings for a good amount of money, but I decided to blow them up on Duo and try attempts to try and make more money off of, so had some fun with those. Anyways, that is the coverage for this 20-hour breakdown. Hopefully that helps you guys. Let me know how you guys perform. Again, I know with the drop loot event, this might get a little competitive compared to how it normally was. I did not run into much of competition here at all. For what I was grinding with, I had all tier 4 pets, level 10 node at all times, never used a loot scroll. I do have 10% bonus from ecology on it, and I never used the Arsha server as well. I did play on my lawn, which you can see here, 265 awakening, 263 with a Kudum. Just moved my other gear from my DK over, and then had a set of weapons for it there. So this is what I grinded in that zone with the other stats as well. So that gives you kind of an idea of what kind of pets and things you're using. Pets isn't super important in this zone since the focus again isn't grinding the main mobs. You're only doing that to kill time between your server change, and obviously whatever pets you have are going to be able to pick up from the elite when you do kill it every 30 seconds or a minute, however long it takes you to take those down. So that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to like it if you did enjoy it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you get notifications whenever new videos go live. I'm going to try to get these 20-hour grinds out once a week again, except for next week because it is a drop loot event, and I'm pretty much living in history and Star's End right now to take advantage of that. But aside from that, 1 a week is the goal here. But of course, I have to put 20 hours into it each time, and that's not always easy week to week. Anyways, if you do want to catch us live, there is a link to the Twitch page in the description below. You can head on over there, drop a follow so you get notifications when the live stream is up if you want to check that out, or you can check out the weekly schedule posted on there or on my Twitter as well. And that is going to be it for this video. Be sure to hit that like button, which I said already, but it's important that you do it. So do it anyways. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.